Shanna here. Welcome back to my channel all about finding joy while learning to live well with autoimmunity. I am so glad to have you here. So today I'm doing something a bit different. This one is by request. I am sharing how I started sharing my Hashimoto story and how that led to a career change and how I built my business to where it is today. So if you don't already know, I was actually in the accounting field for a lot of years, a lot of years. And I worked as an accountant at a corporation. And then I hit my rock bottom, and I was still doing accounting even as I started to share my story. And then I built my business out of that. And then I walked away from accounting a couple of years ago. So I'm just gonna kind of share a little bit about that. And then 10 things that really helped me to start sharing my story and to start my business. And please just know this is just me sharing my experience. There's a lot of different ways you can start sharing your story. There's a lot of different ways to build a health coaching practice. I'm simply sharing my experience and what helped me. And this is also just meant to be a starting point. So down the line, if you have any more questions, I'm happy to host like a webinar or like a Q&A. All right, so before I jump into 10 things that helped me when I started sharing my story and started my business, I'll just share, first of all, where I'm at today. So I am a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and I have a online one-on-one coaching practice where I work with clients one-on-one. Most of them have autoimmune conditions or chronic health issues. I do coach on the autoimmune protocol, but I also coach on other, ways of eating. Not everybody, the autoimmune protocol is not right for everybody, right? Like there's different ways of eating for different people, and some people just aren't ready for that, or that's not right for them. And so I do coach in other areas of nutrition as well. I just meet my clients where they're at. And then I also do lifestyle and mindset coaching along with that nutrition coaching, because a lot of times I find that mindset and lifestyle are also key to wellness. I also have an online group coaching program. It's a 6-week online group coaching program. I run it 4 or 5 times a year. I just started recently my current session. My next session will be in August of 2021, and then I am offering it again in October of 2021. And then I also have a online monthly support group for autoimmune warriors, where I post a few times a week in a private support page on mindset and lifestyle and nutrition tips. And then we meet once a month to just do like a Q&A, to just check in with everybody. Living with autoimmunity is so hard, and so I just love offering that as a resource. And then also I have an AIP retreat planned for next year, and I'll put links to all of this below in case you are interested in how I'm building my business, what I do, and kind of want to see examples of what I offer. And then the other thing is I am an Associate Instructor for the Nutritional Therapy Association, for the NTA. And the NTA is where I got my certification as a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. And I love the program. I cannot sing its praises enough. It is life-changing, not only as a student going through it, but also as far as empowering others and offering community and resources, and raising awareness for the incredible benefits of nutritional therapy. So that's a little bit about where I'm at today. I have other projects in the works as well. I will announce them as they are ready. All right, so 10 things that helped me start sharing my story and building my business. The first thing that was key is finding my passion and finding my purpose and my why. And that is, I wanted to find others who were where I was. I felt incredibly alone at my rock bottom, and I felt incredibly alone with my Hashimoto's diagnosis. And so I just had this deep down passion to find others like me. I knew there had to be others like me, and I wanted to find them and to tell them this is not how your story ends. This is not that there is hope, and that even if your doctor tells you there's nothing that you can do, there are things that you can do. And I wanted to tell them what helped me. Other thing, kind of like a side note on that one, is finding my audience, finding who I was speaking to, knowing, and if you kind of have started to think about building a business or just sharing your story, it's also known as finding your avatar, or knowing who your avatar is. So I know exactly who I'm talking to each time I speak. I know what her age is and what she likes and what she struggles with. And even though other people connect with what I'm saying, I try to, every time I speak and offer resources, I try to keep in mind who my avatar is, who I'm trying to connect with. Along with finding my purpose, that was incredibly important because I had, like a lot of people, a lot of insecurities and a lot of fear of failure and fear of embarrassing myself in front of people. And so I had to find a purpose that mattered more to me than failing or than embarrassing myself. And for me, I stutter, so you may have noticed in my videos, I think I'll have to do a video about my experience on stuttering. I have been on a podcast, so if that's something that interests you, I'll link that down below. But it was really hard for me to overcome those fears. As you can tell, I've learned how to speak fluently, but when I get very emotional or stressed or during certain other times, or even during just certain periods of time, I stutter more. And so it takes a lot more focus to be able to speak fluently. Number 2 is having a vision, but being willing to adapt and to listen to the Spirit and to change as I felt inspired to. In other words, letting my why guide me, but not being so set in stone. So I had a vision of offering a safe place and of a community for autoimmune warriors. But when I started, I did not plan on becoming a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. I was just trying to share my story and help others. But as I started sharing, I felt the Spirit prompt me to go ahead and to become a nutritional therapy practitioner. And I remember having a conversation. I was sitting on the kitchen counter with my husband in the kitchen, and I said, babe, I think I need to do this. I think I need to take this certification program. I think I need to go back to school and do this. And I remember him asking me about it and us talking through it and him saying, why? And I said, I don't know. I don't know that, because I didn't plan on working with clients at this point. I didn't know exactly that my business was going to look how it looks today. But I felt the Spirit. I knew that I needed to do this program. Number 3 is I had to be willing to be bad at something at first. I had to be willing to understand that the beginning of my journey was going to look rocky, and it was going to be maybe a bit what some people would call embarrassing. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how. I wasn't even on social media at the time. And so trusting that I didn't know how to do things. And this was, I did accounting, for crying out loud, so different. And so just being willing to be kind of sucky at something at first, and just knowing that, holding on to that purpose and that why, and being willing to learn and to grow and to just put myself out there and to just try. If you could see some of my early Instagram posts, which you can if you want to scroll all the way back, or even some of my first YouTube videos, wow. And I still, as you can probably tell if you watch other YouTube videos, I still have a lot to learn, a lot of ways to grow. And so just trusting that everything is figure outable. Number 4, it was having confidence in myself and trust in the Lord, and opening up about this dream that I started to have, and having somebody to be a sounding board and somebody to cheer me on and somebody I could lean on, for support and to voice my insecurities and to help me to work through those. And for me, that looked like my husband. In fact, I'm where I am today because of a conversation I had. We were out on a walk. We'd gone on an evening walk after he came home from work. And I remember I had this vision and this passion in my heart, and I hadn't told anybody about it. And we were on a walk, and I told him, I think I want to start sharing my story, and I want to find others like me and try to help them. There was more to it than that, but that was the beginning of the conversation. And he heard me out, and he listened, and he looked at me, and he said, Shanna, I think you should. Having that confidence in me, and having that confidence in myself and faith in the Lord was key. So just knowing that, just trusting your gut and trusting that spark that you feel inside of you. Number 5 was be willing to get uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, there are so many good quotes about getting out of your comfort zone, about growth outside of your comfort zone, and I found them all to be true. I've shared a little bit already about how I stutter, and you should see the very first video I ever filmed. I should look it up. I was shaking. I was not comfortable. I was terrified. But again, my why was more important to me than my fear, and then my insecurity, and then how uncomfortable I felt. You mattered more to me any of that. I was also very, very, very uncomfortable on social media. So I was not active on social media at the time. I had personal accounts from years prior, but I'd stopped using social media because I had lost my health, and I struggled with, comparison, and I struggled with all kinds of things that a lot of people who struggle with social media struggle with. And so I remember I didn't know how to build a website, and so I just found someone on Etsy at first, to help me. And I've since, found somebody else to build the website that I currently have. But this first person who built my website, actually from Australia, I remember her telling me, Shanna, you need to set up an Instagram account and you need to start sharing on Instagram. And I was like, oh no, that's not gonna happen. I don't want anything to do with social media. Like, that's totally uncomfortable. I don't wanna go there. And I remember her telling me why and how important it was. And so I opened up my social media, my Instagram account, and I just started sharing on that. And my husband can tell you how terrified I was when I first posted my first post sharing my story. Number 6, just a willingness to learn, understanding that I didn't know what I needed to know in order to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't have the finances to build a team to help me. And so it was just me, a one-woman show, and learning, just Googling. And I didn't take all the advice I read. I listened to my gut and the spirit and to what resonated with me, and I started from there. I still Google stuff when I'm not sure, so never underestimate the power of the free resources available, and that you're never gonna feel like you're ready to start. Like, I don't know anybody who felt like they were ready to start. Maybe there's people out there. I didn't feel ready to start. I just started. All right, number 7 is seeing failure or like shortcomings or perceived failure or perceived shortcomings as an opportunity to learn and grow. Nobody comes out and they're like, oh, I'm so perfect and I've got all these things going, and I have so many posts and so much content with not very many views and not very many likes and not very many comments and not very much whatever, and just understanding that that's okay, that's fine, that's part of the process, and coming back to why I'm doing this. Again, keep coming back to your why. And so if you're not sure about your why, that's where you need to start, is why, because that's going to be what gets you through the hard time. And so for me, I just kept coming back to a distinct thought I had when I started all of this. And the thought that I had before I started sharing my story is this: if I help one person, it will all be worth it to me. Number 8 is being very intentional with my time, and so not getting sucked into time traps. So yes, I do have social media accounts and I do share on social media, but I'm not on social media hardly at all. So I'm very intentional. So I get on to connect with my audience, to share, to hopefully inspire, and to hopefully help that day. But I post, and then I post my stories, and then I hop off. There are like a small handful of accounts, maybe 3 or 4 accounts that I love to follow, that I'll go and check their stuff intentionally, but I'll go search their stuff and intentionally look at it and then hop off, because I found that comparison is something that I personally struggle with, and I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to, I believe we each have our own unique stories, unique talents, unique gifts, unique strengths, and that together that we are able to accomplish so many wonderful things. And so if I'm comparing myself to other people and I'm being hard on myself because I'm not like so-and-so, or I can't do things as good as that person can do, or whatever, that is not helping me. That is hurting me. That is a waste of my time. That is a waste of my energy. Number 9 is I just started, meaning I just got outside of my comfort zone and started sharing my story. Again, I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel comfortable. I did have fears, but I just started sharing. So, and I started small. So I started only on Instagram. So I had read somewhere that at this time, a few years ago, it was better to pick one social media platform and to just start sharing there and get super comfortable with it, super consistent with it. And then as you build that and as you feel inspired to, then branch out. And so I chose Instagram. And then I also started on my blog. So I didn't start my YouTube channel until well after I'd started my blog. And again, there's no right or wrong way. So now I'm more comfortable doing video than blog posts. So I post more on my YouTube channel, generally speaking, speaking at this point, and that may change in the future. And then number 10, I kept going even when I felt insecure, when I felt judged, when I got, negative comments and feedback, because when we put ourselves out here and share our story and build our business, we open ourselves up to those negative comments and those judgments and those negative feedback from both our audience, and you'll be surprised or at least I was, from other influencers as well. And so that was really hard on me at first because I'm a recovering people pleaser. And so I had to understand that not everyone is going to like me, and not everybody is going to resonate with what I have to say, and not everybody is going to agree with what I say. And that's okay. I keep coming back to the only approval that matters to me is my own and that of my Father in heaven. That is my rock. And I'm not saying it's easy when I get those negative comments, but I remember something that Jenna Kutcher, that I heard her say, or I read something that she wrote, and she basically said that as successful as she is, there are hard days. She gets negative comments, she gets negative feedback, she gets judgments and all of those things. And she has hard days where she feels like I'm giving up, but she made a commitment to herself to never quit on a bad day. In other words, never quit on a hard day. And I remember reading that or listening to it, I can't remember which one. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna make that commitment too. So I've made a commitment to never quit on a hard day, to never quit on a bad day. And so I've had hard days over the years. I've had, bad days, and I keep going because you know what? Those hard days pass and those bad days pass. And then I remember why I do this, my passion, and that it's worth it, and that no matter what you do, bad days are gonna happen. No matter what you do, there's gonna be negativity. Which brings me to a side note, is that I did not start with making money in mind. I did not start with a business in mind, which people do and you can, but I'm just sharing my experience. I started first with my passion, and I worked for free. Worked, but I mean, I wrote, I created resources, I spoke for free many times for a while before I started charging for any services, before I started creating paid content, before I started any of that. I'm grateful that I get to do what I love, and that I don't do accounting anymore. I walked away from it, I believe 2 years ago. Anyway, that's a little bit about me and my story, just like some basics to hopefully help you get started sharing your story. Please know that your story matters, that your story is unique to you, and somebody somewhere needs to hear your story, not mine, your story, in a way that only you can tell it. And so if you feel so inspired to, I encourage you to start sharing your story. If you dream of building like a health coaching business, or like a blog, or a YouTube channel, or writing a book, or having a podcast, I encourage you to go after what sets your soul on fire. Do the hard things to get to where you want to be. Personal growth books and podcasts have been incredibly helpful to me. I always try to focus on personal growth, and usually things fall in line. I'm so grateful for what I do. I'm so grateful for this question that gave me an opportunity to think about, okay, what have I done? And I know I didn't get into a lot of the nitty-gritty as far as like how I've done it. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to help. I could always offer like a resource if you have more questions. Please know I'm cheering you on and sending you so much love and support. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment and let me know if you have any tips for sharing your story, what's helped you, if you've built a business. We would love to hear and to help others. Have a wonderful week. Sending you lots of love and support.